Hi, my name is Elizabeth Hastings, and I am recording this video as an interview into the EdS and instructional leadership. I appreciate your patience with me in getting this video recorded. Kaltura does not operate well with our school system's firewalls, and I've had the hardest time trying to figure it out for them to finally tell me that, sorry, you can't do it. So, I'm recording this video to upload for you guys. I hope to finally meet you in person one day, but I will get started. The first question says, describe the professional journey that has brought you to the present. What are your short and long-term goals? So, my journey is not like all educators. This is not my first career. I started out with a degree from University of Alabama in athletic training that led me into the world of secondary education. I worked there for 5 years as an athletic trainer. It was more of a liaison between physical therapists and the doctors and providing on-field care for all the athletics at a school. But it allowed me to get to know the schools and the principals and build these relationships and learn how to communicate and these skills, that personal skills that have made me who I am today. So that journey has helped me greatly get to where I am today. I pride myself on my communication skills and my ability to break things down. For example, when I was in that position, I would have to take what a doctor said and break it down for parents, students, athletes, and you never knew what level of education they were coming in with. And that has helped me greatly in the science classroom because science is a passion of mine, which blends to that medical field, and I love being able to share that with my students. So after 5 years of doing that, I went back and got my 5th year master's in biology education and started a family around about the same time. I have worked in only 2 school systems. My relationships I built with my first job, my first career as an athletic trainer, allowed me to get my foot in the door and get my first teaching job. I was actually hired 1 week before school started. During the semester, I was supposed to do my student teaching. So I was just thrown in there, and it was the best possible way to learn. I had the best mentors. This school was very supportive, and I learned so much those 3 years I spent at that school system. I did transfer to my current system at Decatur City to be closer to home. My husband is from here. I work in the schools that he went to. Our children now go to these school systems, and I've now been here. This is my 9th year. I taught 8th grade for 2 years here, and then the last 7 I have spent teaching 9th grade biology. A couple years ago, I decided that administration was in my long-term goals. I went back. First, I went ahead and got my 18 hours in biology, graduate level courses, so that I could have that in my tool belt to maybe one day teach through the community college here. And then I went back and got my administration certificate as an add-on, the RHO, through West Alabama, and completed that last May. So now I am continuing to get my EdS in instructional leadership in hopes to move into an administrative role sometime in the near future. I know I have a long time left in the world of education, and I look forward to it. I love my job. I love coming to work. I've never said, oh, I can't do this anymore. I look forward to it. We all need our breaks sometimes, but I feel like there's nowhere else I'm meant to be. So long term, I do plan on being a principal one day. I feel like I still have a lot to learn, but I would make an excellent assistant principal. And as a leadership role in my school, I've been able to support teachers, support students, support our administration. I help out as much as I can. And I feel like all these experiences that I'm gaining, being part of the leadership team here, are all adding in and helping me with my future goals. Number 2, how would you identify a teacher's passion for his or her subject matter as you observe instruction? Give several concrete examples. So if you walk into a teacher's classroom, you can sense their passion. You can see the enthusiasm that bleeds out of them to their students, their depth of knowledge. If they really care about their subject and they're passionate about it, they're going to be lifelong learners of that field. They're going to push to know more and more so that they can help their students. Their students are going to be engaged. Teachers that are passionate about their subject are also passionate educators, which in turn make them more engaging. Students are going to be able to feel that passion. They're going to share in it a little bit. You can't make them all love your subject, but you can for a few minutes, if not a whole class time. So that passion really helps. They will make an effort to diversify their learning so that all their students can feel that passion or love that subject for that day, if nothing else. And then that helps them to get them back on a daily basis, or as we're on an alternating block, every time they're sitting in front of us. They know that their teacher cares about them and cares about their subject and is passionate about teaching them. Some examples, we have a history teacher that I've gotten to sit in on some of her classes, and when they teach the Black Plague, she comes in with a full garb of like dress up. Well, not just any teacher's going to do that. If she was not passionate about that, she would not even make the effort to have this costume to engage these students and make the classroom a little different for that day. Even if we are teaching middle school and junior high students, they still enjoy a show. They still enjoy teachers who put forth that extra effort. So definitely enthusiasm is felt as soon as you walk in a room. And you can tell when it is put on and when it's there every day. If teachers know that someone's coming in to watch them, it's easy to put out that enthusiasm. But it's also, as an administrator, if you're in there enough, you're going to see it over and over, and you're going to feel the authenticity that with the students and the teachers. So that's always a good thing to have passionate educators. Number 3, describe at least 3 instances in which differentiated instruction is an absolute must. How would you, as the instructional leader, encourage a teacher who was not differentiating instruction? So, at our school system, we are the most diverse school system in the state. Every classroom is a diversified classroom. It is multilingual. We have a large percentage of students with IEPs, 504s. And we also have the gifted and the advanced learners. So this diversified learning, this differentiated instruction occurs quite often. It's essential for learning to happen, for learning to take place. And our teachers are, I would like to say, not all on the same page about this. And a lot of times to encourage someone, it's not because they don't want to, maybe it's because they don't know how. So I think it's important to first offer support. Just be there. Encourage teachers to try something new and provide training for them so that they know how to differentiate these resources. We're giving all these platforms, digital platforms, all these types of training and books and programs, and we're provided training, but then you've got to turn it around and give them time to actually apply it in the classroom. That's where teachers learn. So having a little grace after providing something new and then encouraging them to try it to see if it works or it fails is very important in encouraging a teacher to use these tools they're provided with to differentiate. And once you do that, you've got to encourage them. You've got to provide feedback. This feedback, whether it's constructive criticism or I should say, and positive feedback, that's only going to encourage them more to try something else or to continue with this one that they were successful with. So the climate and culture of a school will allow you to grow your teachers, which in turn will grow the students. Spending time in teachers' classrooms, spending time in their training with them as a leader only solidifies that relationship that you have with them and your ability to provide feedback and to encourage them to try new things. So I do think that it's very important. And that leads into our 4th question, which is about feedback. Why is feedback important to teachers and students? feedback for students, we all know. We give them grades, right? But that's not always enough. I've only been teaching 12 years, but in the last 10 years, this has changed greatly. It's went from giving them a score out of 100 to, standards based, to helping them understand core concepts that are going to be carried throughout their education, especially at this secondary level. So I think that it's important to provide this feedback for students. I'll start with them, so that they can grow. And it has to be constructive feedback. Feedback needs to be given where improvement's needed. We spend a lot of time on things that aren't quite as important, or they're frivolous. They're not pertaining to our standards or to what we need to get our students to grow. If we focus on standard-based instruction, then we can provide feedback that's going to help our students reach our goals as an individual and as a whole. As far as teachers go, it's important to give teachers feedback, but it's also important for teachers to utilize feedback to guide instruction. You can look at feedback from an administrator's standpoint, from a teacher's standpoint, and from a student standpoint, and they all have the same goal. Feedback provides information to guide where your instruction's going to go. As an admin, my feedback to my teachers, I should see enhanced performance in the classroom. I should see what teachers can do, how far they can push their students. And as a teacher to a student, it's helping her guide her day-to-day instruction. Does she need to go back, or he? Do they need to hit something else? Do they need to reteach? Do they need to differentiate even more to get her different levels of learning students in her classroom? Feedback also helps to address misconceptions where misunderstandings happen, whether that's from a teacher to a student, misconceptions that have been taught before, or something that was taught and it didn't quite come across as clearly as hoped. So they need to go back and readdress that. And from leaders to teachers, misconceptions about expectations and what they need to do to be successful, what you expect of them in the classroom and in the climate and culture of the school. So these ways are ways to provide effective feedback. You could, we have a feedback form, our district does. It's standard. I like the standard form. You know what's expected of you, and then the criteria, you see if you meet it or not when they come in. And that's excellent. It creates data for leaders to look at to see needs across the campus. But I also think it's important to make it individualized, to leave a little sticky note on their desk. Hey, great job. To add that personal touch to it. Send an email later in the day. Sit down with the teacher later so that you can go back. They can ask questions. You can address it. I think it's very important to have productive feedback with that after component. The same happens with students as well. They give us feedback with their test scores. Well, what are you going to do with that? What's the after with your results of the feedback? So all those things are important. That is all I have. I appreciate your time in watching this video. I hope that you consider me for this program in instructional leadership, and I hope you have an excellent day. Thank you.